My name
My
is
name is
Manuel
Nora
Martinez.
Calderon.
I was born in the capital of
Guatemala in
Mexico in
1970.
1991.
I came to New Jersey in
January 2000.
1986.
The Immigration Project is the first collaborative project designed by the njnewscommons to have news organizations throughout the state collaborate. And I put the word out to partners of the njnewscommons and said, let's come to a meeting to decide, if you're interested in collaboration, to decide what to collaborate on. My idea was the Immigration Project, and that was the one we ultimately selected. The reason I thought of it was because in states like Texas and California, there's a lot of coverage of immigration because of the borders. In New Jersey, because we're not a border state, there's a little less attention to it, but we still have very, very high percentages and numbers of immigrants, so I thought that it would be an important subject matter that was perhaps undercovered. So Elizabeth Inside Out has been part of it. WBGO was interested in it. We've had some people from NJ.com and from the Jersey Journal who have been involved in this. And one of the strongest partners was Survey USA, which actually did a telephone survey, like the kind that Gallup would do, about attitudes towards immigration in the state. And of course, the other partner is the School of Communication and Media, and particularly Beverly Peterson's transmedia class, which has put a lot of energy into the project.
In the transmedia class, we were able to take a look at ways to engage the public. How do we tell stories and bring the public and get the public involved in adding their stories? So that was a different way of looking at it, and completely different from the other class. But the two classes fed each other. So the transmedia class needed the research being done by the documentary class. The documentary class was, needed a way to get the stories out, and that's how they fed each other. Some of the projects they came up with were that we created the website. We created the Share Your Stories. One of the students came up with a really great way of quickly showing people on the website how you could use your cell phone to tell your story and to send it in.
So Sophie Chavez did a really wonderful piece last summer about her cousin from Ecuador who had decided to come to the United States. The really terrific part of this piece was that this girl had made a promise on her grandmother's deathbed that she would become a doctor.
I'm 18 years old. I'm from Guayaquil, Ecuador, and I live in North Largo, New Jersey. The thing that I miss in Ecuador, my brother and my friends. Bueno, cuando tenía 7 años, a mi abuela le detectaron que tenía cáncer por aquí, la garganta. Entonces ella tuvo una operación. Hicieron un... No puedo. Hicieron un hueco aquí. Y entonces ella perdió el habla. Nunca más pudo hablar. Solo hablaba por señas. Y pues yo en ese momento quería descubrir por qué ella estaba así. Yo le hice la promesa de que cuando iba a ser grande, yo iba a ser médico para ayudar a las personas como ella que se sentían muy mal y poderlas curar.
And when I was in graduate school back in 1981, I did actually my own version of the Immigration Project about my personal family. And what I did was a radio documentary called Abraham, Our Father. And it was about my grandfather, Abraham.
On New Year's night, 1921, Abraham and Sarah Gallant landed on the shores of Ellis Island. Almost without blinking, they set down their Russian suitcases and started changing into Americans. This is a story about the kind of people who cross an ocean for a second chance, and about the kind of country that would give them one. This is an American story about wandering Jews. It is our story.
This is my life. Abraham Garland.
So for me, it's a really personal story. And, you know, I realized that in the space of a couple of generations, my family has gone, you know, from immigrants who had nothing, who had to learn the language, who had all the indignities of being an immigrant in the United States, to a professional class, to people that no longer had to worry about that anymore. But I think it's a universal story. Everybody except for the Native Americans in this country was an immigrant at some point back in their family. And so, and also as a student, I did this as a student as well.
Debbie Gallant is, I love to collaborate with people who have energy and who can, they see the patterns and they see how to network people together. And she has a real talent for that. I mean, she was able to bring together different journalists. She said to me, you know, I said, oh, I'm really interested in looking for someone in an urban area in New Jersey. And the next thing I know, she's got me connected with someone from Patterson who came from Bangladesh. And he's trying, next thing I know after that, I'm doing a story about someone who's seeking asylum. So it was really, I mean, you know, she makes those connections. She sees, that's why she's so great at bringing together the New Jersey ecosystem, because she can see how this story is a real news story. This will pan out over here. This story will pan out over here. Let's bring these people together. Let's bring these people together. And she also did that in the classroom. So by bringing that into the classroom, the students get a chance to work on something that now has, it's news. It's real. It's going to go out there in the community.
Most of what I do here is outward facing from the school to the professional journalism community. But what I've been doing with you guys, both in the class I taught in the fall and in working with Beverly students, is geared towards the students in the education. So that's been a secondary role for me. I think I'm like a baby in terms of being a professor. I really don't know anything. I'm really just a total fledgling beginner. So you guys are teaching me more than I'm teaching you.